Hey guys, Moldran here. There's been a new data mining from the Diablo 3 of Souls client, and it's about the difficulty. And this leads me to the question, how difficult should a game like Diablo or an MMO be nowadays? Now, let me show you the news first. There's also been another thing that has been data mined, that the stat caps for grid chance and so on have in fact been removed, but I can't really talk about this. Like, we need more information from Blizzard if they get removed or not. Probably some experimenting going on there. But what's in the strings now is a new difficulty named Torment. And what myself and most other people think is that this is going to be a combination of Nightmare and Hell, just like Wyatt Chang said in one of his blue posts earlier. And while I also think that it's going to be like a combination, but let's assume that there is going to be a difficulty that's harder than Inferno is right now. Now, for example, there are achievements, and the problem with the achievement system right now is the achievements are all about time. So there are one or two tricky ones, but other than that, achievements are all just about time. You do them and that's it. There's no challenge involved in them. They're pretty easy to do. No skill, no learning curve. So I think they are, I don't know, pretty boring. They haven't been that popular. But if there is, for example, a really hard difficulty, where it's like kill the butcher in 2 minutes on a super strong difficulty, I think that would be interesting. Like really min-max everything, min-max the gear, the party, whatever, just to try to get that achievement done. And once you have done it, like that's like the best feeling in the world. If you really achieved something that's really, really hard to do, and then, for example, only 1% of the players can. Now, this leads me to the question: okay, how difficult should the games be? Now, first, there was an interview with the League of Legends lead designer about World of Warcraft, and I know a lot of you guys played World of Warcraft in the past. I played it a lot, I read it a lot, but after Wrath of the Lich King, I didn't enjoy the game that much anymore. And what he says, coupled with other games, is first he says that often players say something. For example, players want either buffs or nerfs or whatever, but that's not actually what they really want. So it's really hard to like get information what do players really want, because it's kind of like stick information that's really hard to get access, and often the players don't know it themselves. Like they think they want this to be buffed or want a certain thing to be nerfed, but after that change gets implemented, they actually like regret it. So what he was also saying is that Burning Crusade is a sweet spot, and he was also saying that they made easier raid content and more accessibility with things like flexible raiding, LFR, and so on. Now, I also agree that Burning Crusade is a sweet spot. I also think Wrath of the Lich King was good, at least until Uldur. But yeah, I really love the Magdaridon, the Gruul Slayer, the Serpent Shrine Cavern. Those are amazing raids. Tempest Keep, like Burning Crusade, had my own guild, we had a lot of fun, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. And I think making everything like easier and make it so that every boss like can be killed with LFR in the first 1 or 2 weeks isn't that fun anymore. I really liked it when the bosses were actually so hard that everyone had to spend weeks to prepare for them, had to like work really hard, wipe a lot, and then finally get the boss down. And when you had the boss down, that was a really good feeling. Like I imagine or remember like back in Ventrilo or TeamSpeak, like once the boss died, like everyone was just celebrating. It was really cool. Now, but as far as Diablo is concerned, the thing with Diablo is Diablo doesn't really have any difficulty right now. I miss actually the old Inferno. I really miss the old Inferno, but it's actually hard. And this leads me to the next person I'm going to let talk, and is Jeremy Gaffney, the Wildstar lead designer, because I think Wildstar is a pretty good approach to the difficulty. And what he says is that there's 1% of the players that are hardcore gamers, so players like Alcazer, Grip, Crippy, whatever there is of them. Usually you know them, the hardcore players, and what they are doing is they're actually like catering towards those hardcore players and not towards the big mass. And there are several reasons why they're doing this. Now, first is the 1% are pretty vocal. I mean, they play the game a lot, so usually they post in forums or give recommendations of what changes they would like, and so on. And also usually they often have a big following, so they influence a lot of people. And what they also say is, and this is the thing that leads me to Diablo, over time your 1% content becomes easier. Better loot drops, people get more skilled, level caps raise, so the percentage of time spent actually over time gets utilized well. And I think this was the problem with Diablo now. Diablo was difficult for like 1 month, and I really enjoyed the game back then because you had to pay attention, you had to play well, you had to deal with invulnerable minions, with strong effects, and you were actually able to die. And I know a lot of people hate to die, but I like having to play like paying attention and playing well to prevent deaths than rather just steamrolling everything on MP10 with good gear. And I think that's where the problem came in. Jay Wilson decided, okay, people quit the game, people are frustrated, they can't beat it. Let's just nerf it completely. Let's just make it 5 times easier. And the thing was, I think the game would have been just fine with the same difficulty. I mean, better loot drops. Everyone's gear gets better in Diablo as the game goes on. So people would have gotten better gear and would have been able to beat Inferno themselves. Also, people get more skills. Like, the more you play the game, the better you play, and also then you could progress. So I think ultimately, like, just letting the game be itself would have led to more people being able to beat Inferno, and the game would have still been hard, and there would have still been like point to play the game. Now, another thing that he mentions is that the developers are often part of the 1% hardcore gamers, and I also agree with that. Like, if you are a hardcore gamer, you don't want to develop a game for like casuals. Especially if there are so many advantages associated with catering the game towards like hardcore players. And the last part that it says is about the huge feeling and stuff when you discover something or when you do something. It's kind of like what I said before with the raid boss kills in WoW, in Classic Burning Crusade, when you actually were one of a few persons in Enter World who just got the boss down. Now, another thing that he said about this thing is that some of the stuff, especially the group stuff, needs to be damn hard, and that they want the best skills or players capturing raid bosses in challenging ways and so on. And other people say then, okay, this might be cool, but I don't want to stay awake until 4 AM every day and raid like 15 hours a day. And yeah, they found a solution for that, and it's, as I say here, they want to people to work together towards goals like fastest raid time. And this means that fastest time in raid and not first of the week. So this means when there's a new dungeon coming out or new bosses, like in Wildstar, everything is dynamic, so every week there's something new. It doesn't depend if you like do it on day 3 or day 5. It just depends on like how many hours you spent into the raid. So for example, in WoW, for example, if one guild plays 100 hours and wipes 100 times, the guild would like still get the world first, compared to a guild that only wipes 50 times, but only plays like, let's say, 30 hours because they don't have more time, because they have other things to do in their life. And with Wildstar is actually like fixing that problem by just allowing people to raid whenever they want and just tracking the dungeon time, like the time they actually spend in the raid in the dungeon. And even if they kill it like 1 or 2 days later, they might still like be first on the leaderboard and get credit for like really killing it in the most efficient and effective way. So those are things about challenges. Now, my own opinion is I kind of agree with that. I really think that Diablo needs to have some kind of difficulty. I know a lot of people just want to play a game after they come home from work where they can smash monsters without having to worry of die. But I think dying has been an integral part of computer gaming or video games in general since like ever. Like even in games like Mario, you had the difficulty of a game was measured by like, okay, how often do you die, or how hard is it to die, and what penalty do you get for dying. And in Diablo right now, there is no penalty for dying, so you get a few repair costs, but who cares with all the millions of gold that you have. So we'll have to see how the game is going to evolve, and we have to see if there is going to be difficult content. As for now, I'm playing other games, as you probably know already. I'm not really a big fan of playing the game right now because I'm a ladder player, so I'm gonna start on ladder. So the games I play until then are Hearthstone and League of Legends, so I might make some videos about those games. But other than that, hope you enjoyed my video. Let me know your thoughts on difficulty, how difficult do you want Diablo to be, and have a good weekend. Thanks for watching, I'll be back.